The money monetary switch is happening. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, July 29th, 2024. My name is Sam Shalhoub, and it's time for your daily dispatch. So first up, over the weekend, they had a Bitcoin conference. As many of you know, I've been reporting on it. President Trump was there, as well as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And President Trump made some very interesting statements. First up, he said that if he wins in November, that he pledges to form a Bitcoin reserve using 210,000 Bitcoin that were seized by the Justice Department as the core of a new, quote, strategic national Bitcoin stockpile. And then he said that Bitcoin will one day probably surpass the market cap of gold. And then finally he said, ultimately, his promise to each and every one of us is that he will be the pro-innovation and pro-Bitcoin president that America needs and our citizens deserve. I don't see how he can make it any more clear that being Bitcoin is going to be part of this new monetary system. Now, if you'd like to learn how to buy or hold Bitcoin, go to samshalhoub.com and I'll walk you through the process. Zero Hedge over the weekend came out with an article and they said that FedEx is going to cut daytime domestic flight activity by 60%. That's 60. What do they anticipate coming, or what has already come? Well, I think we all know. And as we know, the Paris Olympics are underway. Well, there was a blackout in Paris during the opening ceremonies or just thereafter. And all of Paris was blacked out except for one structure. And you know what that structure was? A church. Symbolism at its best, I think. Now this next story, CNN, we all know, isn't worth a hoot. But what's interesting is they had a segment on Kamala Harris's presidential run. And they said that she's the most liberal senator, supports defunding the police, and wants to abolish ICE. Now, either CNN has had an awakening, or possibly they're being told what to do and what to say. I would love to hear your opinions on it. I have my own opinions. Last week, there was a massive wildfire raging here in Northern California. I'm in Southern California, but in Northern California. Now, America's largest active blaze, on the 7th largest in California state history, has an official cause. Well, apparently a man pushed a flaming car down a hill into dry brush in Chico's Bidwell Park. Now, in addition to this blaze, there was the Interstate 15 that runs through Nevada and California was completely shut down on Friday. Apparently, a truckload of lithium-ion batteries caught on fire, and they literally had to shut down the Interstate 15 for hours. People were running out of gas, there was no food, no water. It was an absolute nightmare. Now, this is two major developments that are happening in California and something to certainly keep an eye on. Residents of Clinton Hill, New York City are fuming about a shelter for illegal migrants in their neighborhood. They say that the shelter makes them unsafe. Well, guess what? 97% of the residents there voted for Biden-Harris. Turnabout's fair play? Sure seems like it. And then lastly today, there are elections going on in Venezuela. You would not believe what people are doing to make sure that their vote counts. I mean, the government has shut down bridges and roads. They're taking boats across rivers and lakes to get to be able to vote. And what's happening is there are very similar characteristics of what took place here in 2020. If you go to my X account, it's Shalhoub Sam on X, you'll see some information that I posted there that I find very, very interesting. So that's all we have for today. If you'd like to support this channel, you can go to samshalhoub.com or you can go to mypillow.com and enter in the discount code SAM. And in the meantime, I hope that you have a great week and we'll talk again soon.